All right, we're jumping right into some truly shocking news out of Nigeria. It involves one of the biggest stars in boxing, Anthony Joshua, in a story that has sent just waves of grief through the world of sports and well beyond.
You know, for a guy like Anthony Joshua, a two-time world heavyweight champion, a trip back home to Nigeria was supposed to be a happy occasion, a chance to celebrate the new year with family, but in just a heartbreaking turn of events, that celebration ended in absolute tragedy.
So, to really get a handle on how this all unfolded, let's just quickly run through the timeline. Joshua was flying high, right? Fresh off a massive win against Jake Paul down in Miami. From there, he heads to Nigeria. But then, on December 29th, that trip was tragically cut short in a fatal car crash near Lagos.
Okay, so what do we actually know about the incident itself? Let's dig into the details that we've gotten from officials and from his own team.
Well, the first official word came from his promoter, Matchroom Boxing, and the news was just devastating. Their statement confirmed that 2 people had tragically died and that Joshua himself was in the hospital, but thankfully in stable condition.
So here's what we've been able to piece together from the official accounts. According to Nigeria's Federal Road Safety Corps, and for people who actually saw it happen, the Lexus Jeep Joshua was in was reportedly speeding. They were apparently trying to overtake another vehicle when they collided with a stationary lorry, a big truck that had broken down. And the result, as you can see, was just catastrophic.
And you know, while the headlines are all going to focus on the champion, and that's understandable, the real heart of this story isn't about boxing at all. It's about the 2 men who tragically lost their lives.
Sinagami and Lateef Ayodele, these guys weren't just names on a team roster. They were deeply woven into the fabric of Joshua's life. Sinagami was his strength and conditioning coach for over a decade, a true expert in sports rehabilitation. And Lateef, who everyone called Lats, was so much more than a trainer. He was a close friend. I mean, their bond was obvious to anyone who followed Joshua's career.
The shock and grief just rippled through the boxing world, and fellow fighter Chris Eubank Jr.'s words really hit home. He remembered them not just as professionals on a team, but as genuinely good men.
And this quote from bantamweight boxer Shannon Courtney, it just perfectly captures the raw shock of the community. Her words highlight that brutal whiplash, right? From celebration to tragedy. It's just a terrible reminder of how fragile life really is.
So as you can imagine, the reaction to this was huge, and it reverberated from boxing promoters all the way to world leaders. Joshua's own promoter, Eddie Hearn, really summed up the collective heartbreak of the whole situation, just calling them 2 great men. Simple, powerful, and straight from the heart.
And this, I think, was a really powerful moment of sportsmanship. Joshua's most recent rival, Jake Paul, put their in-ring history completely aside. His message was simple and profound. Some things, like life itself, are so much more important than the sport they share.
The impact of this tragedy was felt all the way at the highest levels in Nigeria. The president himself, Bola Tinubu, issued a statement. And that's a powerful acknowledgement of Joshua's status as a national hero, and just a reflection of the country's shared grief. So, of course, something of this magnitude raises some really unavoidable questions about the champion's future, both personally and professionally.
Because before the crash, the entire boxing world was buzzing about one thing and one thing only: that long-awaited, much-hyped showdown with fellow British heavyweight Tyson Fury.
A clear path had been laid out. The victory over Jake Paul was supposed to be a stepping stone. There was another fight planned for February, and it was all building towards what many believed would be one of the most anticipated fights in heavyweight history.
But in the wake of this tragedy, all that talk of legacy fights and paydays, it just feels so insignificant. As BBC sport journalist Kal Sajjad put it, right now, those plans feel secondary. And they absolutely are. And this really gets to the heart of what's next. Joshua's recovery isn't just going to be about healing his physical injuries. He survived, yes, but he now has to face the loss of 2 of his closest confidants, people who were friends first and team members second. The emotional toll of that is just, it's impossible to quantify.
And that leaves us with a final, very sobering thought. For a man who has built his entire career on strength and resilience inside the ropes, his greatest challenge now lies far, far away from any stadium lights. The world is going to watch and wait, hoping for his recovery, not just as a boxer, but as a man who is grappling with an absolutely unimaginable loss.